5 and Premium more.
Oh, so Premium more, there's questions also.
Yep. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. We are live right now, and I think we have got quite a few people right now. Everybody, please say hello to Mr. Lu and Tim. Okay, Tim Ho from Dollars and Cents. Okay. Yep.
Yes, it's me.
So we have got Daniel, Jane, and JL, Jianming, and Joe's. Good evening to everybody. Today I live stream a little bit earlier because not everybody as night bird as I am. Tim, what time do you normally sleep?
Nowadays, because I follow Mr. Lu's healthy lifestyle encouragement. So I mean, even though he doesn't tell me to sleep early, but because my kids are all below the age of 12 and they have to go to school in the morning, unlike Mr. Lu who has retired, so I have to wake up early. So because of that, I sleep early. So I think my bedtime nowadays is about 10:30.
Oh, that's very good. 10:30.
So this is already past my.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is past my bedtime.
Everybody come in right now. I need you all to hit a like. 300 like we start. Today, we are going to cover quite a lot about the budget. More importantly, is to provide some. I know you guys are just interested in one thing. You're just interested in the new CPF investment scheme. So if you guys are interested, please quickly come in, hit a like. And once I have 300 likes, we will start. Okay, no 300 likes. Now we got guests. At least you all must say hello to Tim. Don't just say hello to Mr. Lu. Okay, we got guests here. Okay, and for those people who are first time seeing Tim, he's living from the Dollars and Cents YouTube channel. You all can go there and hit like and subscribe as well.
Yes, and if anybody is on the Dollars and Cents YouTube channel, I think not as many as 1M65, then I'm also very glad to introduce Mr. Lu. Maybe just a bit of background for everybody. So Lu and I first met, I think this was 2016, was it? 2015 or 2016?
2016, yes.
Yeah, and I was introduced to him by this friend of ours, Vincent Ha. So he's a mutual friend. So Vincent actually told me, because back then I just started Dollars and Cents. I went full time about in 2015, and Vincent told me I should meet this guy, and he has this concept about how to be a millionaire by 65 using CPF. So nowadays, I think most of us, when we think about CPF, there's 1M65, there's 4M65 and things like that, right? But back then, about 10 years ago, I still remember, right, like when you first shared with me that concept that you were suggesting, the first thing I told myself is that, oh no, this guy is going to get me cancelled if I interview him. Because that was the era where people were saying, give me back my CPF, why is the government taking my money? And then now you want me to ask people to top up their CPF some more. So, but amazing, right? Since then, so I remember we did a YouTube video a very long time ago. It's on the Dollars and Cents channel. This was way before Lu even thought of having his own YouTube channel. And we actually talk about that. Yeah, and I'm quite shocked how big this thing has gone, and I think, it just goes to show how financial literacy can change a lot of people and, make people really think about their finances better.
Now, I must first share with everybody that when Mr. Lu first started off in 2015, the 1965 movement, I tell people that you can become CPF millionaires. Those days, people throw stone and rotten eggs at you for saying that. But I must say that Tim Ho from Dollars and Cents, with his co-founder Dinesh, two of them were the first believer of me, and they actually casted on their news, and more importantly, I was quite a prolific writer. I know you all look at me like Mr. Lu, not educated, can't write one, but those days I actually write quite a lot. Okay, nowadays too busy. Yeah, too busy.
Before you started streaming, before you started streaming,
I no more time to write already. But we started, and I was a regular contributor to Dollars and Cents. They were one of our best, Singapore best, financial news stream and things like that. And And I really appreciate them being the first beacon of light to help me amplify the news of 1865. So for this, everybody, please give Tim Ho a like, okay? And please remember to hit subscribe to the Dollars and Cents channel, okay? So I think about 355 of you here, not enough, guys. You all know the rule. I'm going to see how many people give thumbs up. Today, I'll be going in detail, to the new CPF system, okay? The investment scheme, and what, already 88 thumbs up, man. What the, guys, okay? 300, no less than that. Harman, hurry up. Okay, quickly, yes. And we will have a very detailed analysis, okay, of the whole thing. Yes, I think most of my audience are very used to me going live at 11, 12 a.m. So suddenly we go live at 9:30. They are all very shocked and surprised. Why so early? Okay, now you got 300 of you. Everybody, please give a thumbs up. Don't waste time. But I'll just say this, okay? I had a privilege of discussing with CPF Board in detail about their new scheme, okay? And they share with me quite a lot of things. And I think it's important that anyone who want to know the new scheme whatsoever, and AI, yes, the AI stuff as well. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, so everybody quickly give a thumbs up. I don't have time really, guys. Okay, don't keep everybody waiting, okay? Yeah, I got 300 over 400 of you, and there's only less than 1/4 of you. Yeah, so Tim, what do you think about what do you think about me and PM Wong? Who do you think is older?
You and PM Wong. Wow. You haven't done 55, right? Oh, have you done 55? I don't think so, right? PM is about 51, 52. Or I mean, based on look, you obviously look younger, right? In fact, you look younger now. In fact, you look younger now than when I first interviewed you in 2015 or 2016.
So
if you guys go and see the video, you all will see the difference.
This just Lou being Mr. Lou being a vain. So PM Wong was my platoon mate in OCS.
Oh,
yeah.
You guys were same age, is it? You guys are same age.
Yes, exactly the same age. Today, when I see him on the video, okay, I must say that there's a lot of Lao Ren Pan on his face. Okay, and that's very important. So everybody, please take care of your face. Please apply some skincare from Korea. Okay, yeah, it will do you good. So I confirm that my Korean skincare is doing me good. Okay, so my cohort, which is PM Wong, certainly have aged quite a lot, because one is a politician and PM. He got a lot of stress. I don't have much stress. Then second is that I don't think he take care of his face. Oh, but his wife is drop dead gorgeous. You agree with me? Yeah. His wife is drop dead gorgeous. So I think we are very proud to have a very pretty PM wife. Yes. Okay.
Actually, right, I want to suggest that you should actually, that TCM medicine you give me, I think you should share that with PM Wong if you still have his contact. When he was talking the speech just now, I think my wife was saying, hey, he
was coughing.
He sounds like he has my same cough as me, right?
I'm very sure he has acid reflux as well. So by the way, guys, this is just me gossip while waiting for you all to give thumbs up. 200 thumbs up, we can start. If not, we don't have time really. So I just want to say this, okay? Tim suffered from a very, very bad acid reflux and throat cough issue. And I recommended him it wasn't just a recommendation, it was a coercion. So I met up with him. The minute he say hi, I said, what happened to your voice? And we sat down, and then his wife came. I tell his wife, he must go and see a doctor now. So we called a TCM doctor, and then they went down straight away, right?
Yes.
Went down straight away. And now his cough is gone, right? After 2 weeks.
My cough is gone. Yes, about 2 weeks, my cough is gone. But I still got my throat still a bit hoarse, but the cough is gone already.
But your cough was around for how long?
Oh man, I think the second half of last year. Too much talking on my own podcast until to the point
almost
where
6 months to a year, right? I remember it's very long.
Yes, a few months. Yeah, the second half of last year.
So guys, don't mess around with acid reflux. It's a big issue. Yeah. Okay, I need another 40 more thumbs up and we'll start. Okay, 40 more thumbs up. Guys, hurry up, okay? Please recommend your skin products to PM. I used to be in OCS group chat with him.
Do you know him? I just wanted to ask you, which unit were you guys in? And
No, he
does
was
he
with
remember you?
company platoon 1. But he disrupted, so I know him very little. And he was very quiet. So I don't really, he was really, no one expected him to be a PM. He's very quiet, very low profile, only play the guitar really well. And suddenly become PM and everybody is shocked. You know, it's like,
Wow.
wow, it's like unbelievable, right? So, yeah. So
what happened to the group chat? What happened to the group chat that you guys were in?
Not in that group chat has a lot of people, all high-powered people. But I think he left the group chat now for obvious reason. He's PM.
Right.
Yeah,
He can't,
whoever wants
yeah. All your bickering in the.
We got like, I don't know how many 50 people in that group chat all can have direct contact with PM. Okay, so hurry up, guys. Another 20 more. 20 more will start. You just I'll share the PM. Mr. Lu can be the next PM. PM of my house. PM of my house. Okay. Yes. The only one thing I'm better than PM Wong is my face. Okay, I don't have much sunspot compared to him. But that's because I'm more vain. I went for laser. I went for skincare. I apply sunblock, everything. Yeah. So I'm seriously more hiao than PM. Yeah. So okay, guys, and 18 more we can start. Okay, don't wait now, guys. 18 more we can start. Okay, 18 more thumbs up we can start. Okay, so that we can start this, and we want to discuss seriously about the CPF, the new CPF system, and a lot of other things in the budget as well. Okay, yeah. What's
the cure?
What's the cure?
Cure for what?
What's the cure for the throat? Is it go and see the TCM doctor that I recommended him? Yeah,
but maybe for people who don't want to see the TCM doctor, what I can suggest, and that's something that Mr. Lu taught me, is really just to skip supper, because I think the supper really causes a lot of indigestion. So I think the older we get, the lower our metabolism becomes, and then sometimes when we eat too late, we can't digest, and it causes the acid reflux.
Just walk, just walk. Night walking.
Yeah, just walk.
Okay.
Yeah, talk too much probably as well. Yes.
Yeah. Whoever have the same problem of a chronic cough, there is a chronic cough like Tim. Yes, I can recommend you to TCM. I don't get any commission from her. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to wait anymore. Let's start, shall we? Okay. So Tim, over to you.
Yep. So, I think the first question I just really want to ask, and I think it's the elephant in the room that everybody wants to talk about, is really what the CPF, they call it the Life Cycle Retirement Fund, right? I think Life Cycle Retirement Fund. Actually, I'm not sure if you guys know, but actually the government actually mentioned this in 2016 in a CPF advisory panel. Lu, do you know that, or you didn't know that?
Oh, I wasn't following then.
Yes. So let me just grab an article out. So in 2016, they actually had a advisory panel, and this product was actually first mentioned back then. In fact, so Dollars and Cents, we actually wrote an article, or rather I wrote an article about this product as well. And I think what surprises me was actually how long it took before it was actually announced, or rather I think someone asked that question a few months ago during Parliament, and they said there'll be more news. So I think that's the biggest announcement for me personally. Just want to ask you, Mr. Lu, I think you shared earlier that you were part of that discussion. Maybe you can share what exactly was being discussed and what are the concerns and consideration.
Well, thanks, Tim. For those latecomers, everybody, please continue to give a thumbs up. So I will just share this, that this scheme has been in a cooking for 10 years. So 10 years is a long time. 10 years is a long time. And I would just say this, that first of all, I'll give you the high level construct of it. Okay. There are a couple of features. Number one is that it has a automatic glide path. Okay, automatic glide path towards towards liquidation as the age grows older, and it auto adjusts from high equity to low bond to low equity high bond as you grow older and older. So and the other one is that it has got very low cost, supposed to have a very low cost. And of course, my famous phrase is I like globally diversified portfolio. The equities part of it is likely invest in a globally diversified portfolio. So these are the three key features. And by the way, the name of the scheme is not announced yet. Okay, it's not announced yet. I gave some constructive feedback as a marketing and branding person to CPF board. My proposal, I hope they would take that into consideration. I'll just say that a lot of the government schemes, when they announce their scheme, the scheme is very good, but the name is very bad. So this time around, I try my best to encourage them to make the scheme more easier to understand or more attractive from a naming perspective. So I would just say this. Then the question is, the most important question really is, so how much return can we get? Yeah, I think that's the top of the mind of everybody. How much return can we get, right? So it's really hard to say. So I took a chapter from the Hong Kong one. The Hong Kong one gets somewhere between 5 to 6+%. Okay. And that's not far away from 5 to 7%, I think. Okay, that's not far away from the Malaysian system as well. So I think it's a number that I hope that we can gear towards a 5 to 7%. Globally diversified portfolio gives about maybe 7 to 9% or 7 to 10%, depending which one. Yeah, so that's where I'm hoping that you'll reach to. Yeah, so that's top of my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of also was maybe just to share a little bit of insights from somebody who writes in the space. Was I was a bit surprised, or rather I wasn't surprised, but so most of us would know that endowers have, you can basically invest some of your CPF money through endowers, and personally that's what I've been doing for the last few years, right? Because your OA earns you 2.5% per annum. So given the current environment, I think, as a young person, when I started investing, I have like 20 years to my horizon before I reach 55, back then. So it makes a lot of sense to take a higher risk for higher return, as PM Wong shared in his speech, right? I think prior to that, it was a little bit more difficult because getting low-cost access to a diversified global portfolio was a lot more difficult. And Endowus offers it at 0.4%. So that was one of my first thoughts. But I think what I'll be very curious to know when it's finally announced, it's whether or not how this new product would be different from the existing product that we currently see with what we can invest through Endowus. And I think a couple of months ago, or maybe just a month ago, there was another robo, Auto Wealth. So I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with Auto Wealth, but we also work with them. And they also were approved for CPF IS investments. So my suspicion is that the government would want at least a few platforms to be CPF IS eligible before they actually, allow consumers to invest, because that's where, you want to give consumers basically choices, as I think PM also mentioned about 2 to 3 products out there. So I think
I would just add that that at this juncture, let's not forget that the government will come out with some early adopter support. Okay, what this support is, I don't know. Okay, I don't know, because I don't think they finalized it. They did mention some early adopter support. It's in terms of I'll be hoping, and I think it's a bit fat hope. They give some guarantees bottom, like the first 2 years. Wow, that'll be great, right? No less
that's
than 4%.
Good to be true, I think.
No less than 4%, or maybe they say that waive the fees for first 3 years, whatever, right? I don't know what is that early adopter support that they are thinking of,
I
but they did say that they will give something.
maybe they will subsidize the fees. I don't know. Maybe that's one way. I think right now the rep fees are 0.4%. So, if you can get down by, another 0.2%, that would be ideal, But let's see how it goes. I
I
think
must
the other
say that,
consideration,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the other consideration I feel is that, whether or not people would actually consider investing their SA, right? Because SA has a much higher barrier to entry. And right now, today, our SA, most of us will not invest in it. And the instruments you can invest in also is a lot more limited. So I think you can't invest in stocks, for example, using your SA savings. So that's the other part I'm also wondering whether um, is it going to be SA eligible? And if it is, whether it actually makes sense. Because a lot of us subscribe to the belief of, you keep your SA for the risk-free return, and then maybe you invest your OA because the interests are a bit lower anyway, assuming you don't use it for your housing, of course. So I think that's the other question I have in mind. Because that's a lot of money in the SA as well. So,
I cannot be 100%, but I'm pretty sure they will discourage the use of SA for this. Okay, so my guess, the philosophy is just to let you have higher returns for your OA. This is my guess. Okay, this is my guess. I don't think they will. The details are out. So so far I've never find anything that can beat the SA risk-free return. So I think that's something that I will. It will take a lot for me to touch my SA.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
for
Maybe
sure.
here I just want to highlight a very important point, which is that uh, who is the target audience of the new CPF investment system? Uh, I would say that clearly there are some people that don't dare to do investment at all. That means the minute it goes down by a little bit, they cannot sleep for 10 days, that kind of thing. Are there such people? Yes. Okay. Then, of course, there are some people who are experts like Tim, okay, that you already know what to do already. Then the new CPF investment is also not for you. It's really for a middle ground of people that would like to get higher returns and have a long runway, 20 years runway, but don't know how to do it themselves, too busy to know how to do it themselves or whatever. This one, in that sense, they farm it out to CPF board, who will then under the new scheme take care of you for up to 20 years. So generally, you will be the younger group of people, not uncle like me. Tim, how old are you right now?
I'm 39 this year.
So yes, you're still eligible. Okay, you still have a 20-year runway to your retirement age. But uncle like me don't have 20 years to retirement already. So I don't think the new scheme will work a lot for me. Yeah.
But I would say that that's the idea. I mean, for those of you who heard the speech, PM actually talked about the glide path, right? So he shared a little bit, but essentially the glide path concept suggests that when you are younger, you should take more risks with your retirement. That's it. So let's say you're 30 years old, it's okay to take higher risks in your investments. And then when you're nearing retirement, or maybe you're nearing your 50s, then naturally the equity positions you take will be lower because you want to retain as much of your capital as possible. So they'll probably move it to more fixed income. So I think to some extent, the life cycle fund takes into consideration your age as well when you invest, which is not a new concept in the investment world. But I think relative to what you have as options right now under CPF, where you kind of have to do it yourself if you're investing in stocks, or even if you're investing in endowers, for example, which I do, you kind of need to toggle your own risk appetite, so as to speak. So when I was younger, you know, I want to put 100% into equity, right? Then, of course, when I turn 50, I probably want to do it 60-40 or 50-50. But that one, you have to kind of do it yourself. So I think this whole idea of the life cycle fund is really to guide CPF members who want to invest their money, but maybe not so investment savvy or really wants a hands-off approach.
I think it's good that they kala pau ka liao, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's a really good thing that someone take care of everything for you. The question is what's the performance and what's the cost? And by the way, guys, whatever questions you have, you can start right now. We're happy to answer them. And guys, please continue to give thumbs up to the channel so that more people can get to watch it. Okay, yeah. So Tim, any more question on this topic while we wait for the questions on other people to come in?
I think the thing that I'm trying to figure out, which I don't really know the details, is really who are going to be the so-called fund manager that will be administering this investment. So I don't think it's going to be administered by I don't think the CPF board is going to be the fund manager, right? So they are the ones that are going to guarantee your 2.5% to 4% base interest rate. So that's what the CPF board is going to do. But I don't think they are going to be the fund manager for this thing. So I'll be very curious to know who are going to be the appointed product managers, right? And I suspect some of them might be brands we already know and we have already invested through. But I wouldn't be surprised if there are other players that will, be announced in time to come. So one thing I think you can clue yourself in is just ask yourself which platforms right now allows you to invest your CPF savings. So I think if the platform already allows you to invest your CPF savings through, then I think these guys stand a higher chance of being, one of the appointed product managers, so as to speak, for this investments.
This is where I guess, don't. So
do you have insights?
This part is not an insights, but knowing all the players in the market right now, first of all, you need to be low cost. You need to be globally diversified. It's not that many that meet this criteria. No, I would say Amundi will be top of the choice. Dimensional Fund is the top of choice. Vanguard, okay, will be top of choice. So these are fund managers. Endowers is not a fund manager, so they might be able to organize this and put it behind a fund, that kind of thing. Maybe it can, right? It's possible, okay? So what if people lose all their CPF to this investment? Won't happen now. How to lose all their CPF? For example, let's say if you put into S&P 500 or globally diversified portfolio, you need maybe, I think the MSCI World Index, for example, have 1,400 companies or something like that. You need 1,400 companies to collapse. If that day were to happen, I think the world is in trouble. Okay, yeah. So maybe we answer some questions. Are you okay with that, Tim?
Yep, sure. Let me check the Dollars and Cents channel also.
Okay. Someone basic 778 make a comment, and the minimum sum must be small enough for young people to join into a CPF investment scheme. Their salary is low, okay, less disposable. Yes, I would imagine so, and I think the CPF board will try to lower the entry bar. But nowadays, to be frank, you can invest with very, very little money in most platforms already, so that's not a big deal. CPF investment is meant for members with surplus savings who understand risk and can aim to beat the market. That's not for everybody. It's not targeted at everybody. It's targeted at as I say, a middle ground. Okay, share what CPF board leaked to you. What's their plan? CPF board didn't leak to me anything. CPF board leak. You say leak means before Prime Minister Wong make the announcement, I got a bit of the information ready. I gave some feedback, okay, and I strongly support their plan. But I think we just want to make sure that who is this suitable for, lah. So I think that's the key thing. Yes. How to MSCI World Index S&P Fund goes? Yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible. But for Monday, why would people go through government and pay extra fees instead of government directly? Well, my opinion is that they will go through government only if the fees are lower lah. Yeah, Tim, what don't know whether I can say or not say. Which fund do you are you maybe I use the word leaning towards?
Which fund meaning? What do you mean? Which fund?
I want to say which fund did you buy lah, invest in, but I don't know where you can say that.
Uh,
So I'm leaning towards.
I think the logical way to think about it, I mean, if you're talking about CPF investments, right? This is what we're talking about, is that your CPF investments previously, a lot of the investments you can make through the CPFIS is on local companies, local stocks, local ETFs, REITs, for example. So if you ask me personally, I think what you want is a globally diversified portfolio, right? Which is actually so-called more robust for your retirement planning if you're trying to grow it over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So I guess some of the solutions that a platform like Endowers provides do give you that access to that kind of portfolio that is more globally diversified. Just to be clear, things a lot of you guys probably already know about Endowers, but not every fund in Endowers is CPF eligible as well. So there is certain criteria that the fund has to be. So Endowers themselves have to be CPF eligible, and then the funds themselves also have to be approved for your CPF or maybe your SRS investments. So that's how it works. And I think what would make sense is to get something that's globally diversified, if you ask me. Yeah.
All right. So today Prime Minister Lawrence Wong specifically said that there are very few winners, okay, very few winners in stock picking, okay?
Yes.
And he suggests that, do a globally diversified low-cost fund. That is basically what I've been saying for like gazillion years. Yeah. So...
But just to add one more thing, right? It's actually quite a change in my opinion at least, quite a change in strategy or direction where they actually allow us to invest our CPF savings in overseas investments. I'm not sure if you guys realize that, because in the past, my parents' time when they were working, you can invest your CPF, but only into stocks. And I know a lot of my older uncles, when they buy stocks, someone say, can you go to zero? It can go to 0.1, right? So if you hoard the wrong stock, 2-3 years later, it might just be, goes down to zero or off the exchange, and that's it, right? Whereas with a diversified portfolio, it's a lot more challenging to lose completely everything, especially if it's a robust portfolio. So it's quite a big thing, in my opinion, that the government is actually encouraging people to invest in a globally diversified portfolio.
I think there's someone who make this comment. Once people start losing money, people are likely blame government for introducing this.
Probably.
I will just say this. You want to touch stocks, you must be prepared to take losses. Okay, yeah. So if you're not prepared to take losses, don't invest. Yeah, that's as simple as that. My guess is that's why they took 10 years to invest, to start this, because our government is a very, very conservative government. Is a mother hen government. Don't like people to take losses and things like that. So I'll just say this: those people cannot take losses, don't touch. Yeah, simple as that, right? Don't touch. Yeah. Actually, Haru has a very interesting question. Does this CPF update makes you more confident about your retirement goals? Okay, what about you, Tim? What do you think of this question? Does it make you more confident about retirement goals?
I think what I would say is, for sure, I will be excited to see the product, because I'm already investing some of my CPF OA savings in a fund. So it has generated positive returns, obviously, in the last few years. So that's great. But I think one thing which I feel quite strongly about is that more people should think about, investing their CPF in that kind of way, where when they're young, take a little bit more risk, generate a higher return, instead of spending every dollar, paying for your home mortgage. Just take a bit of money and invest it instead and get a higher return. I still subscribe to the 1M65 philosophy, which Mr. Lu has, shared with me almost a decade ago. So I still think that the whole, you call it a barbell strategy, is it, where you got your SA savings, secured and, locked in, gives me the comfort that at the worst, I still have a basic CPF life payout, hopefully at least the full retirement sum, if not the enhanced retirement sum. But then that said, right, the additional investment returns that we can earn, it's also can be quite valuable as well. So then if you can get the best of both worlds, I think you should feel quite confident, because, if the markets don't do well, you got your SA earning you good interest. If the markets do well, your OA savings now earn even a higher return. So I think that's great.
Okay, very good. So, I actually think that this one won't make me more confident for my retirement, but I think this one will make quite a lot of people more confident about their retirement. But this thing will launch. Let's just put some numbers to it, dates to it. This thing will launch in 2028, which is 2 years from now. Okay, a bit. I must say a bit. When I heard that, I was like, why so long? The kind of thing.
Yes.
Why so long, right? Okay, never mind. 2028. Okay, and then they'll take a few years to prove themselves how well they've been doing and that kind of thing, right? So of course they can do back testing and show people if you this fund through back testing has shown some really good results and things like that. But I think that there'll be a lot of people who doesn't know much about investment. This one will do them actually quite good. And Singaporeans have this thing that they actually trust the government quite a lot. So when they hear is in some sense a government, I don't use the word sponsor, a government organized fund, they probably will take it up over time. So I am pretty convinced that there will be quite a high demand for this. I'm pretty convinced that if the investors hold for a very long time, like 10, 20 years, they'll do very well in it. Okay, that's my opinion. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I do want to make one correction. Today I was looking at the Hong Kong fund. The Hong Kong have an equivalent kind of fund, but their costs are surprisingly very high there. There's a
High. It's terrible.
0.75 management fee per year. I thought it's one time. And then there's a 0.2% the ongoing recurring fee. So total is almost 1%. That's quite high by today's standard.
And that's their MPF. They call it MPF, right? Which is Mandatory Provident Fund. And it's kind of like Singapore in the sense that you must contribute, but I think they don't contribute as much. So like maybe, I think we wrote an article about this, so I'm just quoting from the article, about maximum of about $500 Sing a month. So a lot lower than Singapore. But the difference is this. I believe there is no risk-free return. So when you have when you're Hong Kong residents and you contribute to your MPF, you actually have to invest it. You cannot just leave it there and get 4% like Singapore. And the worst part, sorry if anybody is based in Hong Kong, but I think, in my opinion, the worst part, if you compare it to CPF, is that the cost is quite high, as what Lou just said. So some people will complain that, it's the asset managers or the product managers are the ones making the money, basically.
Yeah. Okay, Emily has a question. With this scheme, would it be better to invest in this new scheme or work towards ERS if you choose to? Now, this scheme doesn't allow you to hold the fund until you hit, that means you can hold the fund, but by the time you reach retirement age, everything will go into the retirement account. And if you already hit your FRS, then the excess of the new investment scheme will go into your OA. Of course, from OA, then you can transfer to your ERS again. So this is not meant for mega long term. So I will still think that the ERS is a non-negotiable. Everybody must work towards the ERS. The CPF life payout once you hit the ERS, and if you do regularly do your top ups to your retirement account, is phenomenal, and the lifetime guarantee. So nothing beats that lah. I actually think that nothing beats that.
It's an efficient return lah. It's an efficient return. Yeah.
Okay. Tenzin say, how risky is this new CPF investment option compared to leaving money in CPF? What's your opinion?
I think the difference is simply whether you are happy with the risk-free rate of between 2.5 to 4. But then if it's 2.5, you may as well transfer it to your SA if you're not using it for 4%. So then you're kind of like comparing the base of 4% versus whatever potential returns you get, right? So I would say, I think, Lou, you said just now, your globally diversified fund, 5 to 7%. The other thing to note is that your 4% in your CPF is earned risk-free and cost-free, right? So if I were to add in an extra 0.4%, which is currently the rep fee which people charge when you invest your CPF in a fund, that means to beat the SA mark, you need at least 4.4%, as the risk-free premium, right? Because that's the risk-free rate is 4.4%, right? Because you add the cost, which means that realistically, the kind of return you would want, if you were to compare it to your special account, is at least on the upper range of the 5 to 7% that Lou mentioned earlier, right? So you want at least 7% because otherwise you take, what's the point of taking risk just for an extra 1% return? So I think that is the fact is that the bar that CPF set is already quite high when you think of the special account risk-free rate. Yeah.
Someone actually said that, Michael, actually, by the way, guys, please hit thumbs up. Just buy S&P 500. Yes, but in some sense, it is like buying S&P 500, but this one help you auto-adjust bonds to equity ratio. Help you auto-adjust. So there's this, they use a word glide path, So as you grow older, you will have more bonds and less equity. So if you just buy S&P 500, then you have to adjust yourself. So is that good or bad? Really depends on your risk appetite. Yeah.
I would just add that, we have to see the product details when it's finally out, 2 years from now. But a part of me feels that with this glide path concept, and because you are talking about fixed income being potentially a bigger proportion of the portfolio as the person becomes older, I wonder how realistic is it to expect a return that is going to be significantly more than the 4.4% we thought about earlier, right? Again, 4.4% because you have to take into consideration the charges that you will have to incur, right? That's why I say 4.4%. So if the allocation on bonds are too high, then the chances of them, outperforming 4.4% is not so good as well. So there is a bit of a dilemma there actually, but we will have to see the product when the time comes.
Okay, Prodigal Geek says, hi, Tim and Mr. Lu. What will be the top priority on wish list for the CPF lifetime retirement scheme? I assume this is the new investment scheme. And by the way, we should move on from the investment scheme to talk about other things because the whole budget covers other things. So last two topics, last two questions on this. What will be the top wish list? Tim, what's your top wish list?
I think it's the cost. The cost have to be, if you ask me, I think it has to be even lower than the current 0.4% that, funds can charge for CPF. Because when you earn returns on your CPF savings SA, it's 4% risk-free without any transaction fees. So the higher the fees, the higher the likelihood that the fund is not going to be effectively outperforming the SA.
Yeah. So I think that that's on there's a top line and bottom line. Bottom line, I totally agree with you. The cost needs to be very low. The top line part, I would wish that they would have things like maybe they say they allow two to three companies coming providers. Okay, I suppose from there we probably think that let's say maximum 3 choices. One of them a little bit more risk taking than another one, something like that, so that you offer different range of choices. Like, but knowing CPF, I don't think they would like to undertake that kind of risk. So, but I wish that there could be a different flavor among the 3 of them. That's my take. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have a fund that is like a Temasek fund. So you basically invest in whatever Temasek invest in.
No, I don't. The returns are at most
Not good enough.
I'm trying to think of the right word to use diplomatically. Humble for now. Okay. Maybe we quickly. No, it's not meant for. I'll just answer quickly. Yes, it's not meant for those 65 and above. And if you are 50s right now, this fund is not for you also. Okay. Yeah. So I think that this one is not really a very this one is really meant for people, I would imagine, in their 45 and below. I would say 45 and below. Okay. Okay, maybe we go to other topics. Tim, you want to talk about the other topics?
Yeah, sure. I think the other topic, I mean, for those of you who have young children like me, so a bit of background, I have 3 kids below the age of 12. The other thing that you would be quite happy with is, it's a bit low key, I thought, when he made the announcement, but actually the government is giving another $500 per child on age under 12 through the SG child, let me find what's the word, LifeSG credit, Child LifeSG credit. So if you have 3 kids like me, you actually get $1,500 in kids LifeSG credit, which is a lot of money because 1,500 is quite a fair bit. The thing that I think is worth noting is that it's not the first year. So obviously this whole LifeSG app was introduced the app has been around for a long time, but they actually instead of giving all the money in CDC vouchers, they actually distribute it across CDC vouchers and the LifeSG app, right? And they're giving $500 per kid, so parent like me get 1,500, but I think Mr. Lu gets 0 because his kids are grown up already. And
maybe I will soon.
Maybe your daughter can enjoy it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it will encourage her to have as many kids as possible. Then you can enjoy it also, the grandchildren. So I think that is good also because, yep.
No, I was just saying what I was surprised is that they still give a CDC voucher, because there was a lot of talks in the market that, wow, it's going to come down a lot. They're going to take away all and things like that. And suddenly when PM Wong said there's still a $500 CDC voucher, wow, like everybody's so happy, right? Actually, what was last year, of course, is SG60. So they gave, I suppose they gave a lot. But what's
800.
the usual CDC, not just as your usual year, like a steady state year? What's the CDC level? I also don't know.
I'm not. I'm checking the 2024 dollars and cents article. I know last year was 500 plus 300.
Correct. That's because it's SG60, like a 60th year jubilee, so they were very extraordinarily generous. But
yes,
I think
2024 was also 800, I think. So I think the whole CDC vouchers has been, I think it's one of those things where I don't know whether you guys know it, but like it kind of replaced the GST vouchers, if you all remember the GST vouchers. The GST cash vouchers. But it's better, right? Because with the CDC vouchers, you can't like take the money and buy 4D or travel to Malaysia so easily.
Ontario, yes, I don't qualify for CDC voucher because he got two property. I actually didn't know that if you got two property, cannot get. Okay. So the rich don't get lah, basically. And rich is defined as property, multi property owner. Yeah, actually, property is the one that in Singapore, if the more property you have, the more you kena quite a lot. Yeah, you're left out in a lot of things. Yes.
Yeah. So I think the CDC vouchers, but I think the LifeSG, one of the things that I find interesting is how the government actually disperse these vouchers on two separate platforms. So I'm not sure if you guys realize it, but so for those of you who have the LifeSG app, it's a bit of a debate sometimes between me and my wife, because I'm not sure if you guys know, but your LifeSG app for the parent of the kid, it actually only goes to one person account. Do you know that, Lu? So I show you guys now. Can show you guys my screen.
Wow,
so you can
money.
see that because I got 3 kids, right? But my wife doesn't have this, so it's only on my SingPass. If you get what I mean. So I think they give it to the one who started the CDA account, if I'm not wrong.
I see. Okay.
And LifeSG app is actually a bit better because you can pay in decimal point. So you don't need to have like $11.20, then you pay $10, but you have to come out cash $1.20. So I think that is good. But I think the other thing is that I feel like because the government is giving this Child LifeSG credit for the second year running, a part of me feels like this would likely be a regular thing also. Because it can't be, they want to encourage people to have kids. So it can't be like some years they don't give, right? So last year they give 500 per child. This year they also give 500 per child. So it feels like there is some form of structure in terms of how much they are giving, even though they're not committing that they will top it up every year. At least that's my sensing. So right now, if next year I don't get again $500 per child, I'll feel a bit disappointed actually. Didn't say that. But I would expect that there is, maybe the amount may not be so high, but I would expect that there is this type of regularity, right? Because imagine if someone have a child next year and they stop giving, then you also feel, hey, how come my year and then they stop giving already? So I think this might be something that's quite regular in my opinion.
My take is that if they don't give CDC voucher, the Singapore retail scene will die. Yeah, the Singapore retail scene is dying already. And a lot of people are now shopping overseas, especially in JB. And the only one thing that's keeping the retail scene alive, okay, and the struggling retail scene alive is the CDC voucher. So if the CDC voucher are not there, I think many of the retailers will collapse. So I think it's not just looking from the people side, also from the business side as well. Yeah. So I think there's this thing. Yeah. Shall we talk a bit quite a lot about AI? AI is the biggest thing other than CPF investment scheme.
Yes. AI. What are your thoughts? I feel like this. I mean, there was a lot of conversation about AI that he spent, but I think in terms of the actual announcement, if I'm not wrong, it was mainly, I think, 2 to 3 things, right? So I think there's going to be is it call it a task force or was it a task force? I can't really remember. A task force, and then there was a suggestion that if you take an AI course and there's some premium subscription that you have to pay for, the government will subsidize for 6 months. So I guess that's the start. But I feel like, it's a small start, but maybe in subsequent years, there'll be more announcements and more development in these AI scenes. National AI Council, yes. At the same time, I won't be surprised if how much investment in this space moving forward really depends on how the industry take off as well, right? So assuming that the AI boom continues, surging in the next few years, then obviously I think a lot more investments will go in. But I think there's also a possibility that some of the, there will be a part of the government that will also see how quickly AI takes over, our day-to-day function.
Okay, I got a few thoughts to this. Certainly, the fact that PM Wong is talking serious about AI and doing serious things about AI, all of us better level up our AI skills. Okay, better level our AI skills. And we should take AI like dead seriously right now. Now, in the past was, by the way, it is okay. Now it's about survival. There's something I don't quite agree with him, is that he says that, that AI, we're here to make sure at least AI, he didn't. I'm trying to think of the right way he said, but basically he's trying to say that we will always take care of Singaporeans' job first and not let AI dictate or something like that. No, basically, I'm not too sure whether whether we even have a chance to fight the AI wave, man. They're coming in like a destructive force, in a massive way, destroying jobs and things like that. So I'm not even sure our powerful government can stop this wave. So it is something that we better adopt in a massive, fast, rapid way, or get swept off by the AI tsunami and get left behind. But the great thing is he's very serious about it right now. And I think all of us, whether be the individual, the students, the professionals, even senior Singaporeans, and the companies, better level up our AI skills in a fast and rapid way, and not just use it just as a Google replacement. Okay, and I think that's the key message he's trying to drive at in a serious way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they identify the 4 sectors also. So advanced manufacturing, connectivity, finance, and healthcare. So I think there'll be more information in due time. But I think what the government is going to try to do is they're going to look at some of these industries, and they're really going to identify sectors or areas within the industry that they want to implement using AI. Though I agree with you that sometimes it's a bit difficult to, I guess to some extent the government wants to determine which area of which job functions should be done by AI, but whether or not that's within their control, I'm also not too sure.
Now, I will just say this, that I copied one notes where I'll just say this. AI actually make old people young with their capability. Let me just say this again, okay? AI makes old people young with your ability. So if you were old and young people, whatever, now with the power of AI, it can make you do things that you previously could not do because you are old already. So for uncle and aunties like myself, wow, I just said, okay, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I showed everybody, I developed a crash buying system to help everybody do simulation and learn the skills of it. In the past, how I know how to write this kind of code and all these kind of skills or whatever, right? Now, I just talked to my good friend ChatGPT. I just talked to the good friend ChatGPT. I just tell him, I'm now thinking of developing a system like that. Can you help me develop such a system? I want the idea to be like that, roughly. Then he asked me a few questions back. I said, no, don't make it so difficult. Uncle, auntie cannot learn one. Yeah, so make it very, very simple or whatever. The software come out. Wow, suddenly Mr. Lu can code and can produce software. Wow, yesterday you all saw my system, right? I was damn impressed myself. My children were very impressed with me. I was impressed with myself as well. Okay, so I'm just trying to tell you guys that AI is AI is a game changer, and I want you guys all to take it very, very seriously about AI. It's an insane game changer, okay? And I'm glad that PM Wong, in his budget speech, is not just highlighting the importance, putting money, putting task force, putting seriousness behind it. Yeah, that's what my key take would be. Yeah.
Do you think there's any people who watch the budget and feel like they are on the losing end of it? Who would be your top choices?
The
So
smokers.
called the smokers.
The smokers, they kena, right? Yeah.
Again, they kena again.
They kena again, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
so please stop smoking. Yeah. The smokers kena. But I know another big group that kena because I'm one of them. People hire foreign workers.
All right, because of the levies, right?
EP and S-Pass
S-Pass.
has gone up a lot. Walao. I was like, wow, siao. The EP is now $6,000 plus. Wow.
Yes.
How to afford, man? Yeah, EP has gone up a lot, and S-Pass have gone up a lot. So, well, I've got how many? I don't have many foreign staff. I have got 3 foreign staff in all my companies in total. The cost, I feel like telling them all go back to their country. I hire them from there. Yeah, if not, I cannot hire them in Singapore. It's too expensive, right? It's too expensive. Yeah.
I think that's the business cost that for sure, the government wants to force business owners, maybe like you, to really reconsider whether you need to hire these foreigners or whether, their jobs, or if they're too expensive. Or this idea is that you must be good, and if you're good, then you must be expensive. Then we determine that, you should be on e-pass, right? So I think that is the thing as well. And then the local qualifying salary is also going up. So everybody who's earning the base of 1,006 will likely have their salary increased to 1,008 in order to meet the LQS, which is what's needed. It's not a minimum wage, but it's what is needed if you want to hire a foreigner in Singapore, right? So if your local staff are not paid at least 1,008 moving forward, you can't hire any foreigners. So that's another loser. I think the third group, I don't know how many of you guys drive. It's actually the path rebate being cut. Yeah, to a very significant, or rather, it is cut such that in the past, you used to be able to get 50% of your path value back. So, for example, if your car is ARF is 20,000, you get $10,000 back, and it's cut to 5% now moving forward for new cars being registered.
Oh,
so basically, it's almost gone. Yes, it's almost gone. And that is going to, and I suspect this will be huge. I mean, I'm going to look at SG Karma tomorrow and all the prices, but that basically means that for the most part of it, most of your Japanese sedan, your Japanese sedan will not have much of a par value coming back moving forward.
But wouldn't that mean that the car prices also fall?
Not exactly, because the ARF didn't go down. It's just, so your car in Singapore is basically made up of your COE, your ARF, the cost of the car, and then of course the dealer margin, right? So none of this have gone down. But so what you get, at the end is much lower. So basically, your depreciation goes up.
Oh, I see. The cost of ownership, but normally we would have factored in at the end of the life cycle, we have a certain amount of money back, right? So therefore, yes, I'm willing to pay more for it. I'm just thinking aloud. Okay.
Yes.
What you're saying is that you don't think that has any impact on the price of the car,
because the ARF that the government charge you is still the same.
Okay.
So it's not like the government is giving you a discount at the start, which is why you don't get back anything at the end. You're not getting any discount at the start. So that's a very ironic thing. And I thought it was quite ironic. He actually mentioned that with EVs coming up, there is the need to give back the incentive is a lot lower. Because to me, it's like the whole idea of the path rebate is actually to encourage people to basically change their car every 10 years, right?
Yep.
So wouldn't this actually make people want to hold on to their car longer?
Exactly. Yeah. This like for example myself, I hold on to my car because my par very very low. This is a parallel import, so I extended my COE.
Yes,
So
but moving forward, there is no reason your incentive are lower now. You have no incentive to scrap your
to
car
scrap
after
the
10
car.
years, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they want to do. I know of many rich people now extending their COE. Rich people, they can easily afford multiple cars. Okay, yeah. So
I got a
so my
cynical take though. I got a very cynical take though when he said EV cars. And my cynical take is that perhaps there is a thought process that most EV cars won't last past 10 years.
that is true. Yeah, that is true.
So
I
why give
think so.
you the rebate when you're going to scrap it anyway?
That's a good thought. Yeah, that's a good thought. Yeah,
I'm not a car
that's a good
expert,
thought.
but that's a cynical
That's
thought of mine.
that's a good thought. Yeah, why the hell give when you are, you give because Toyota, Honda, all these can last for a long time. BM can last
Yes.
for a long time or whatever, right? Here comes the EV car that I don't even think can last 8 years. Don't say 10 years. Okay, because the battery run out and things like that, whatever. So basically, then why don't be so concom and just give all this money back, right? So
Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think so as well. Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
Because the other thing is like EV cars, like there's a lot of it has to do with technology, right? So if you buy a Model 3 a few years ago, by the time the 10 years life cycle is gone, Tesla will probably have a far superior product that is better, maybe just as expensive as the Model 3 was in the past. And so there is really no reason, assuming you have so much money, there's really no reason for you to keep on to your Model 3 when you have, don't know, Model Z or whatever coming out next time, if it's going to be around the same price. So then the natural choice if you have money is to scrap the car anyway, right? Which is why the government maybe think there's no point in giving you your par value back.
Oh,
Yeah.
very smart of the government. I never thought of that. Well, Tim, you are a genius, man.
I don't, I mean, I am not
I
an
think the
MOF, but
most logical explanation. Yeah.
yeah. And the
So
other thing is that nobody is going to complain because it's car owners, right? So if you're already paying $200,000 and the government say that, hey, going back, I'm not going to give you your 10K par value back, I don't think they will lose so much votes because most people will just like, oh, the guy can afford it anyway.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I actually think that this one has low political cost and high budget savings.
Returns.
Yeah, high budget
Yes,
savings, quite a
yes.
lot of savings, man. Wow, that's a huge amount. How many cars do
And if
we
you look at,
scrap a
yeah,
year?
I don't,
100,000?
man, no lah, not
Well,
so,
I think 100,000. I think so.
100,000.
I think it's 100,000. Okay, we
Wow.
use our car population is for 1 million. Off my head, my
Okay,
uncle.
so yeah,
Yeah, so
so
divide by 10, that is
100,000,
100,000.
yeah,
100,000. What's the
and
average par value?
times maybe 10,000, I think,
10?
10 to 15, 10.
10. Okay, let's say 10 on the lower side. It's 1 billion.
Yeah,
What is 1 billion? Okay, maybe 95% of
and
them. Right? Yeah.
yeah, I think
Wow.
most guys would, yeah. So that's so-called easy money lah. If you ask me,
Wow, that's interesting. Huh? They have this easy money to, wow, this one stroke of one stroke of adjustment, low political
yeah.
cost, very
Someone,
high savings for
yeah,
the country.
yeah.
Yeah,
Someone say driver votes are insignificant. Yeah, I think so. So,
yeah.
you know,
And I don't think that driver will because of this don't I don't know don't vote
don't
for
vote.
government.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
so I
people who
think
will be affected are, I think the people who are affected will be the car dealers because this is an immediate addition in cost to them because
There
in
you're
the
right.
past, they can say you pay 200K for a car, but you get 10,000 back. So it's 190K, right? But now you can't, your price literally just went up by 10,000 overnight.
So Dan said that EV got bad resale value. EV don't have bad resale value. EV got no resale value. Yeah. I was okay. Let me tell you about EV. Because I extended my COE, but before that I did a lot of research on it. EV tires have to replace, I was told, every 8 months. Because the car is heavier, they wear out the tire more. EV battery will drain over time. Okay. And of course, in Singapore, unless you own a landed property, charging point is troublesome to get. Okay. And there is always a danger of EV car catching fire. Okay, so there are multiple things. End of it, so as a result, those people buy EV car, they suddenly realize, wow, okay, resale value so bad. So right now there is a swing back to petrol car. So I thought that's I mean, it maybe not in full but in partial, right? There's more people now say they want to buy petrol car. Okay, so heng, I never buy EV car. I'll become a number one suku. Yeah. So that's loser, right? Yeah. So should we talk about winners? The top winners.
I think I would say first is really, I think families with young kids. And I think I mentioned earlier, it isn't just so much about the fact that we get, a bit of Child LifeSG this year. But I think the trend you can see now is that the government, I feel at least, is kind of, to some extent, committing to some regularity in terms of this Child LifeSG credit. So because of that, I think there is a good chance that some of these schemes will continue in, at least for the foreseeable future, at least until, the birth rate increase again, or someone has a better idea. So I think young families will enjoy more support going forward. Yeah, that's my first winner.
My take is AI adopters. AI adopters, whether at the company level or individual level. Yeah, your government is throwing a lot of money, a lot of funding, a lot of energy into this, and the AI adopters will get to win big time. And your win is not just from taking government funding or whatever. The win is because you adopted the government, so you followed the government's call and ride together this AI wave. Then your AI adoption is way ahead of the others. Okay, so I think that that the Prime Minister, Finance Minister is driving this really hard, and I think we need to dance to the drum beat in this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult to just say that, hey, I'm not interested in learning AI moving forward, because you have a really good chance of being left behind if once that happens.
Survival. Yeah. Maybe at this point in time, any last questions? We should wrap up soon. But any last questions, guys? I'm just mindful that Tim just recovered from his throat burn and acid reflux. It took him more than 6 months to a year, and very happy that after adopting my advice, he recovered fantastically. So let's not strain his throat too much. I'm very used to talking for 4 to 8 hours, but I don't want to push him. So maybe any last comments and questions? I'm very happy. Let's just take 5 minutes to do some final Q&A and things like that. Okay. Any last questions, guys, on everything? So maybe Tim, I ask you one last questions. Okay. Apart from those things that you are receiving, okay, those things you're receiving as a citizen, a young parent with 3 kids. What is the 1 or 2 things that you feel that you have to take action on?
I think the first thing for me personally is really, I would say the CPF life cycle investment scheme. So not just for me personally, but I think it would actually encourage a lot of people who have been reading about investing but have never invested before. I think there is a very good chance some of them make their first investment, so as to speak, using their CPF money when the time comes. The biggest concern I have is that market cycle comes and up and down. So the worst case scenario for the CPF board is that when they launch it in 2028, it comes
Market
right
crash.
before a recession. Yes.
Yeah.
And that will take them at least a few years to recover. You know, they will have to deal with the political fallout. You know, when the election comes, some people is down 20% on their CPF OA investments. You know, they're going to blame the government for it, even though it's not really the government's fault. But you know, people are not going to.
Inflation,
you got to understand that.
Blame government also. Yes.
Yeah, and you got to understand that a lot of people who might invest might be first-time investors, right? Because they might hear the news that Lawrence Wong introduced this investment scheme that can give you higher returns, and that's all they're going to care about. They're not going to care about the higher risk, right? So, like I say, worst case scenario, 2028, there's a recession, and you know the government takes a few years at least to recover the credibility of this product. Even if it's a good product, there will be ups and downs. So I think that is one thing for me. The other thing I want to say before I forget is that I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, there was a budget surplus last year, and there is a budget surplus this year as well. So it's actually pretty impressive because in my last 10 years of covering the budget since I went full-time, I don't often see the forecast being a budget surplus. So sometimes there's a surplus, but they initially predicted for it to be a deficit. And then maybe the ABSD went up, property price go up, COE goes up, they are surprised. But this year, they already have a forecast that they will have a budget surplus. And I actually went to take a look at how this revenue was being derived. And the surplus is the overall Fiesca position. So this is estimated for FY 2026. They are predicting a surplus of about $4 billion. And that is even after taking into consideration some of the infrastructure projects, if I'm not wrong, which includes Changi Airport, the National Productivity Fund, National Research Fund, and the Financial Development Fund, altogether about 28 billion, all about around $18 billion, right? And one of the biggest reasons is because of the NRIC, which is $28 billion. So because of that, there's a budget surplus. So it's kind of like a very good outcome, I think, because given that, you know, there's still decent handouts, even though not as good as SG60, you know, to have a surplus is pretty impressive. So I think that's quite impressive and, you know, strikes me as pretty impressive in this generation. Yeah. I mean, at least in this part of, you know, this time where every other country is always in a deficit.
Well, I think maybe to wrap up, I would say that first of all, this budget to me is of course the most interesting one is to me because I'm just a CPF fan. Is the CPF new investment scheme, although the actual launch is 2028, so it's many years from now. But I think that really could help a lot of retirees. Young retirees do well over a long period of time. So I think that's a good thing. Yeah. So I'm also worried that a lot of people think that the CDC voucher is a given forever. Okay. I think the CDC voucher or any kind of voucher, and again, I'm not a politician, I don't know, but I know that this is more a government do well, I give you thing. Yeah, government do as well, I may not have anything to give. So I think that's quite different, right? And there's last part which we are not talking about quite a lot is things like Singapore equities market getting boost and things like that. Will this have a upside to our Singapore SGX stocks and things like that, right? So I think it's a wait and see. I think the Singapore stock market has been dead for many years. Only recent 1 year-ish is a sudden boost. And now there's a lot of companies going IPO on it. We have a common friend that is now potentially going for IPO. Okay, yeah, in Singapore stock market, I have a pretty significant investment in his company. He go IPO, I'll be very happy. Okay, so but I think it's this Singapore stock market upward swing with governments throwing money, throwing support, throwing attention into it. I think it's very good for our capital market. Okay, and I'm looking. Although I'm not a big investor in Singapore stocks, okay, but I have vested interest to see this thing doing well as well. Okay, so I think that will be a great something to look forward to. And all this we won't know until sometime later. Like in the case of Singapore stock market, I'm not even sure we can see the next half a year or so. But I know the CPF one, I can wait until 2 years later to see the AI transformation. I hope that we can go fast enough, but the world will change very fast. I don't know whether Singapore can change fast enough, for example. So all these we have to wait and see whether whether action can catch up with so results can catch up because we take action really quickly.
Yeah, I think the Singapore stock market, I mean, I just, not sure if you know, but it's crossed 5,000 already. So on the STI. So that's, I think at least 1,000 plus points more compared to the same time last year. So it's pretty impressive. I'm not sure if it has a lot of things to do with what the government is trying to do. I think a lot of times in Singapore, I personally feel like the government wants to revitalize the market, but the true test of how resilient the market will be is when it's left to the market forces, right? So we will see as well.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm mindful that your throat now has have to rest. I can see your voice start to turn hoarse again. Well, I would just say maybe it's a good time to end the live stream. Okay. Any final word from you, Tim, to say goodbye to our fans?
No, I'm just really glad to be here talking to, I think, quite a lot of people. Hopefully the next time you guys see me, I got a better voice so I can speak even more. But it's great to come on your show, and I think just having this discussion with you post budget, gives me something to talk about, because I was just following it and I was like writing so many stuff, and it's great to have this conversation.
All right, thank you. And for everybody, just a last call, Dollars and Cents, follow them at the channel. And they got a wonderful blog that you all should follow as well, for Dollars and Cents. And thanks, Tim, for joining me in this tonight's discussion. And let's see how the budget discussion is not over; it just started. So the next 2 weeks, more details will come out. Okay, and maybe if your voice is good, we can hop on again and follow up with this discussion.
Let's do it. All right.
All right. Okay. Good night. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you all tomorrow in my live stream as well. Okay. All right, Tim. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay. Have a good rest of the.
Bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.